This is the Segovia Show.
All right. Technically, as is the case, I should be live, but let me just do a quick sound test for all of you before we get rolling here. Why is that not pulling mine? There's a couple of things I had wished I was going to talk about today, but I'm going to push them off. I will tease them though, but I wanted to talk about them today just because it's more fitting. All right, hold on. Let me see. All right, should be the right one. Making some changes on the show, and I'm going to announce them all at the same time. So looks like we are rolling. All right, and it should be correct this time. You guys should all be seeing the layout from StreamYard. And I don't notice any drop frames like last time. I don't know what the flip is going on, but here's the thing. I'm using a Rumble Stream. Do you guys see Rumble Stream on your thing there? Let me pull up YouTube. Let me see what's showing up there. Yeah, Rumble Stream is showing up there too. So I am on StreamYard. There is a switch I didn't use before that I wanted to try out. So I did it this time, and it looks like that's making the difference. So I think we're good. All right. So it should say Rumble Studio right here, but I'm using StreamYard, so I can use my layout, and that means for those of you that leave comments, I'll be able to throw them up here and use the banners down here, so all my social media is down here. So you know what? I'm comfortable. I think we're good. Let me take a sip to get rolling. Okay, so I don't normally do intros on my streams. I have to do one today because it's going to go up for the podcast and I have to announce the changes. So this is how I traditionally start for my podcast. Let me just see that I have the wrong notes pulled up. There we go. It's called Elon versus Apple. Okay, good. Alrighty. So let me get this announced. 1, 2, 3. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Segovia Show. I am your host, Segovia. On today's episode, for those of you listening to the podcast, let me get the announcements out of the way for you because the podcast is changing again. It's this entire show. It evolves over time, and the past few months, particularly with me going on Rumble exclusively for a month, and now back to YouTube jointly, and also streaming to X and other places. Today, I'm streaming to X, Twitch, DLive, Kick, of course, Rumble, and YouTube. So there's a plethora of other streaming places. This is the one of those. If you're on anywhere there, you'll be able to tune into the video version of this podcast. Because from here on out, I'll be doing more streams, and I cannot make all of them podcasts, as some of you have been that been longer, you've been around long enough, you would know that not all streams make it to the podcast. I used to do more specific episodes just for the podcast and then do the streams kind of like the back end. But now with me going live more often than not, I'm engaging with all of you. So this is the part of the show that I prefer to do, where not just I get to respond to the comments, but I love being able to engage with those of you that are interested in the topic at hand and to have those discussions. So I encourage all of you, if you're already on YouTube and you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe there, preferably Rumble, because that's where all those streams will be. And of course, Locals is where you get even more behind the scenes stuff there. So if you're on Rumble, just hit the join button and you over the Locals. But for everybody else, if you're on X, Twitch, D-Live, Kick, even LinkedIn, you'll be able to watch my show there. So you already subscribed to my podcast. Thank you very much. All the content ever makes it there. You know all about that. So for everybody else, this is now, we're getting into the stream. I'm just going to clip that out for the podcast when it goes up in the next 24 hours or so. All righty. So let's get rolling here. Before I dive into the subject, I have someone messaged me about an hour ago before the stream goes up. How can you get in touch with me? So on YouTube, for those of you on YouTube, you'll be able to find there's a contact email. If you want to reach to me, some of you already have, you can contact me through there. For everything else across the social, at the Segovia on X_Segovia, so you can get my attention, get in touch with me. If you're looking for something more along the lines of business, well, then that's a different story. So I take them on a case-by-case basis. Alrighty, so today's topics are on this text stream. All right, I gotta talk about this whole Elon Musk thing. This thing came up. The original title for today's stream was "Is privacy overrated?" And if you tuned into my previous live stream, you would know I already touched on this. And you might have not been able to touch on the subject with me live, so you saw the aftermath. But I felt I needed to address it again based on some of the comments that I was getting on my YouTube channel, particularly. Some of you on Rumble already voiced your opinions, but for those of you over on YouTube, some of you have been posting some very interesting posts. Oh, and I must say, Google actually fixed the search. I would say around Friday or Saturday when they fixed this, I noticed an uptick. I'm like, where are all these comments coming from? So now when you do a Google search, you'll be able to see yours truly in the first two hits, now with what is the unplugged phone and the unplugged phone review proper. And I do have an update for some of you, because when I get to the comment section, there's some of you, one of you left a comment almost 2 weeks ago, and I took it to heart because I was looking through those that I haven't responded to yet. There's a lot of comments. So when I saw that one, you know what? I felt like I need to do a video about that, and I did. It's going to be a YouTube Shorts. I thought it was a reel. It's going to go up on social media, YouTube Shorts, and all that, because when you get to the comment, you'll see what I mean. But for everything else, let me just clear up that some say that I haven't done that effort. I've responded to. I'll respond to you again here, even though I typed it in. I'm getting a lot of these comments. That's why I'm like, you know what? I want to touch on the privacy thing, because in the Elon Musk came up with Apple and what was announced today, I queued up the video from Apple Intelligence. It's about a 4-minute video. I'm going to react live with you because I haven't seen it. I haven't. So I'm going to check that out. And when I do, I guess I'll get better context as to what Elon is referring to when I pull up his two tweets. Share my screen. Yes, I will be sharing my screen. So I'm not just going to be blabbing to the camera like in the previous times, but the previous times there were some issues with network connections. Thank you for understanding. Okay, and let me make sure I got this other window opened up too. All right, some of you are already kicking in through Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. The last live stream was done primarily through Rumble Studios. So if enough of you participate, I might be able to do another campaign. I'll see if I do it. If you saw me drinking from that mug just now, that would be the Goat Farm. And I'll leave the links, affiliate link down below. Follows it coming up. Support a small business owned operation and a small business, a small farm in the United States. They don't really get all the support from the government or from sometimes their own neighbors. So support small business, support American, and get natural. So check out the stuff. I've done the entire thing about this. You can even check out my interview with the, I've been using their product for at least a year. I love it. I keep going back. I just ordered another one this morning. So, well, affiliate link down below. All right. So the question from some of you that have been following my unplugged stories, this is how it ties into my title initially was going to be "Is Privacy Overrated?" So it's all going to go tie in together because of the fallout with Elon and Apple. Here's one of them. Are you so stupidly paranoid No, not it's not asking a question. The other one's you are so stupidly paranoid that it's insane. All these unplugged spit is overkill. What are you people afraid of? The Russians? Right, so it's like a hybrid sentence, or not even paragraph, where I thought at first talking to me, but speaking to the general audience, about the whole thing being overkill. I mean, that you're so paranoid, what, you're afraid of the Russians. I did respond to this comment across the socials. I took a screenshot and I put it up there because I've been getting a lot of those. I've been getting a lot of those since the very beginning. In fact, when I first dropped my unplugged video, it's pretty funny. What is the unplugged phone? It was half and half. I had people coming after me because I was criticizing a device that I hadn't seen, and then there were the other half judging the device before it never really came out. So it's like, yeah, I'm just being speculative here, okay? I don't know. I never seen it. I never had it in my hands, and I do now. That's why we do it. I've done a ton of videos on it. I got maybe another video or two working on it. And a lot of you have been commenting that you're upset about the source code not being entirely open source. So let me just reinforce this to you all. I am in conversations to have another interview with someone over at Unplugged, specifically the chief technology officer. So he was a part of the Pegasus team. And the primary thing we want to talk about is the whole source code thing. So those that are watching, if you're interested, you can leave questions wherever you're watching this because I will find it. Or you can comment on the Rumble and YouTube. You can leave comments down below. And if I can make this work out with the time frame and everything, because we are on completely opposite ends of the time spectrum here, I will incorporate your questions. So I will start farming for questions as soon as this thing is even more realized. But I was offered this up, and the offer's on the table if they want to take it. So if you're watching this, Ryan, then we can get this for sure. Alrighty. So the whole thing about what are you people afraid of? The Russians? I responded to this thing and saying, look, why is it so triggering if people want to be guarded over their privacy? It really upsets me because when you're in an elevator, isn't it awkward if you're in there with somebody else? I don't mind having conversations with people on an elevator, but if I'm going to go in one floor up, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to look at my phone, mind my own business, and you never know. The other person doesn't want to be bothered. So that's generally the feeling. So what if I was in that elevator and instead of standing off at a corner, I'm all up in your personal space. And I want to see your phone. I want to see what you're doing. And I take the phone away from you. And I start scrolling through everything. You'd probably be very offended. You probably knock me out. Who knows? You might even hit the emergency button and call the cops on me or something like that, depending on how I invade. So if that is the case, that you have your own personal space, so then why on earth would you have a problem if somebody wants to be private online? Why is that so triggering? So that was the gist of my response. Why, if someone wants to be protective of their privacy, is it such a problem that you have to judge others for trying to be concerned? It really is frustrating. So for everybody hitting off this, some of them could be trolls, and other ones could generally be like, dude, what are you afraid of? If you like having your privacy invaded like that, if you don't mind people sitting at your house that you didn't invite or think that they have access to your stuff, start reading through your personal material and all that, then by all means, allow it. But if you have some semblance of privacy or personal space, why judge others because they want to have some control over their privacy online? So I just wanted to throw that out there because it is frustrating. And to answer that last point, the Russians, no, our own government. That's our concern because these big companies are just feeding this information over to a because by proxy, that's how they're behaving. And we're in election season, so believe me, it's a lot more contentious now. Right. So I think that's what I wanted to get out of the way with respects to this whole privacy thing, the whole conversation. I think people are really missing the point on that. In fact, I should have shared this with you guys. So let me see so you guys can see it. Let me put the comment up. All right, here we go. I'm gonna share, and I'm going to make sure I have the right format for you in real time. There we go. Adjusted. I know I can do this now, and it probably says Rumble Studio up above. I like that. All right, so over here, there it is. You are so stupidly paranoid that it's insane. All these unplugged it is overkill. What are you people afraid of? The Russians. Dude, it's not just unplugged phone, man. Seriously. There's There's a lot of other things that people can use. There's Calypso OS or Graphene OS or a burner phone. You really, really are paranoid. But the more you know is when you start getting more concerned about these things. Okay. All right, let me see. It's blocking my view, but let me continue on to share it because while I'm on YouTube, I might as well go over and start sharing this now. Because now let's hop over to the main thing about what I'm going to be spending my time on the stream, and it's going to be about this whole Apple thing. Apple intelligence privacy. I haven't seen this, okay? But it says Apple intelligence privacy. That's an oxymoron. That's not true. What they're doing with client-side scanning on Apple side, and we're going to talk about Windows recall towards the end of the stream. This is definitely concerning overall. But I don't know. I think they're pairing up with OpenAI. I think that's what I heard. So let's find out what they say about Apple intelligence and privacy, because Apple's got one of the worst mesh networks. And when I say worst, I mean one of the best, but worse in how it invades people's devices, because you're not technically owning anything Apple, you're leasing it from them. So that's why they control the quality of the internals. Like, are they going to throttle your phone so you can get max battery life? I prefer max performance. Leave that to me, Apple. I want the brightest screen when I want it. I want the highest resolution, and I want to burn that battery out because I want the performance out of that device. I don't need you to be throwing it with every single software update or security patch. So just throw that out there. All right, let me see if we can do a full screen here. Yeah, all right, let's check this out.
With Apple Intelligence, powerful intelligence goes hand in hand with powerful
Volume all the way up. I'll make sure I present. All right, let me play the first few seconds. I didn't hear anything. I hope you do. If I can't hear anything, I'll come back to it. And so just click here. Oh, I think I know why. Hold on. I'm going to do this live. I'm going to switch out the output. Okay. All right. Now we're going to test it. I hear the sound coming from the test thingy, but let's make sure we hear the sound from this.
With Apple Intelligence, powerful intelligence goes hand in hand with powerful privacy. Let me tell you more about its architecture and how it's built with privacy at the core. The cornerstone of the personal intelligence system is on-device processing. We have integrated it deep into your iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and throughout your apps, so it's aware of your personal data without collecting your personal data.
Okay. So I had to pause it there real quick because I was getting a loop. So I'm going to resume so you can watch it. And I did get an offer from my campaign on Rumble Studio. Thank you for that.
This is only possible through our unique integration of hardware and software and our years-long investment in building advanced silicon for on-device intelligence. Deeply integrated generative models require immense processing power. And with our most advanced Apple silicon, the A17 Pro and M family of chips, we have the computational foundation to power Apple Intelligence. This personal intelligence system is comprised of highly capable large language and diffusion models that are specialized for your everyday tasks and can adapt on the fly to your current activity. It also includes an on-device semantic index that can organize and surface information from across your apps. When you make a request, Apple Intelligence uses its semantic index to identify the relevant personal data and feeds it to the generative model so they have the personal context to best assist you. Many of these models run entirely on device. There are times, though, when you need models that are larger than what fits in your pocket today. Servers can help with this. But traditionally, servers can also store your data without you realizing it and use it in ways you did not intend. And since server software is only accessible,
I'm sick of those promises because we know that's not exactly the case. Um, just it's someone else's computer. Apple has taken your data without a subpoena and submitted to the federal government for anybody that was involved in January 6th that was fenced in following the metadata tags. They weren't the ones that did that. That was big tech. Then you had other companies, such as the airlines and the banks that started turning that stuff over. They weren't getting a subpoena. They were voluntarily giving that up, adding people to the list, having bank accounts closing accounts for people, saying that we don't want you doing business with us anymore. Big tech, quite literally, banning individuals from the platforms. And we're supposed to just take Apple's word for it? Please.
to its owners, even if a company says it's not misusing your data, you're unable to verify their claim or if it changes over time. In contrast, when you use an Apple device like your iPhone, you are in control of your data, where it is stored, and who can access it. And because the software image for your iPhone is accessible to independent experts, they can continuously verify its privacy. We want to extend the privacy and security of your iPhone into the cloud to unlock even more intelligence for you. So we have created Private Cloud Compute. Private Cloud Compute allows Apple Intelligence to flex and scale its computational capacity and draw on even larger server-based models for more complex requests while protecting your privacy. These models run on servers we've especially created using Apple Silicon. These Apple Silicon servers offer the privacy and security of your iPhone from the silicon on up, draw on the security properties of the Swift programming language, and run software with transparency built in. When you make a request, Apple Intelligence analyzes whether it can be processed on device. If it needs greater computational capacity, it can draw on private cloud compute and send only the data that's relevant to your task to be processed on Apple Silicon servers. Your data is never stored or made accessible to Apple. It's used exclusively to fulfill your request. And just like your iPhone, independent experts can inspect the code that runs on these servers to verify this privacy promise.
All right. Isn't it the same thing, though, that Unplugged was saying and people were judging them for it anyway? I started off by reading off some of the comments, or at least one of the main ones, and then summarizing a lot of other ones that are very critical of Unplugged for not being fully open source, as they say. It's not on the FOSS list. If it's not there, then it's not fully open source. Apple is making a very similar claim to that, so or you guys can probably check code. You are the most walled garden in existence, Apple. I don't trust that you're giving access to everything for everybody either. Maybe security experts, I don't know to what extent they're letting them see your code, but it it sounds reassuring. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I know how to read this stuff, but I can definitely tell you that those that deal with all this would be interesting to them. So, uh, do you take Apple's word for it? Because I don't.
In fact, private cloud compute cryptographically ensures your iPhone, iPad, and Mac will refuse to talk to a server unless its software has been publicly logged for inspection. This sets a brand new standard for privacy and AI and unlocks intelligence you can trust. Apple Intelligence. AI for the rest of us.
Uh-huh. Okay, so that's what they said. And then, let me share what Elon had to say, because I'm sure he reacted to that. Now, that explains why he was reacting to something. I was very busy. I'll tell you what my Monday was like. For those that follow me on certain platforms, you would know. Share this one. So my Monday was like this. I posted up a meme that I created a long time ago. It's from the first season of Game of Thrones. It's where, oh my goodness, the sword trainer was training uh, Arya to sword fight, and then eventually he gives her this whole course on like what do we tell death? Not today, to teach her, I guess, to not fear death and all that, to just be brave and all. Well, I did a meme based off that. Says, what do we say to Monday? Not today. Well, that was my behavior when it came to this Monday. Because for anybody, I hate Mondays. I'm just putting up anti-Monday meme because I'm an anti-Mondayist. But when it came to today, I'm like, oh, not today, Monday. So the way my day went was my partner forgot that he made an well, first my partner made an error in a calendar invite for an appointment, and he forgot to adjust the time zone. So I called him to correct it, and then he said it's 1 p.m. I'm like, do you mean 1 p.m. today? And then he's like, yeah. Like, oh crap. Yeah, so my entire afternoon was just thrown for a loop, just trying to figure out like I gotta get ready in 3 hours for an appointment I wasn't even planning on being at. So it was a property inspection. And I did, I made it. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just that I have my situational awareness when it comes to these things. I have alarms that go off whenever I feel there's a presence of pests of sorts, and I happen to be allergic to flea bites. And sure enough, as I was almost done with my inspection, like I have a feeling they're in here. And yeah, I saw one just crawling on my arm. Like, okay, I'm gonna flick you away. And I didn't really feel or see anything else. I was wearing light clothing so I could spot them, but I didn't see much of anything else. Oh, okay, then I guess it was just the one. And when I was done, I walked back to my car. I was gonna get into the car. I'm like, oh, now I see you guys are burrowing into my jeans. So I'm like, crap. I got to deal with that, and I did. So I had to leave the office early. I didn't go back to the office like I'm like, I can't. I need to go deal with this, and I need to take a super hot shower to burn whatever's on me off. So yeah, that was my Monday, and it just I thought that when I used to train my inspectors, I'm a property inspector, but now I'm mostly deal with the office. So when I used to train them, I would tell them like, hey, you are not an inspector. You can get everything right with your notes and your reports and the estimates we provide for clients and timely. But until you're baptized by cockroaches, you are not an inspector of this company. It's like, what do you mean? And some of you are probably wondering why would you get baptized with cockroaches in this business? Well, those are the kind of properties that you run into. You just never know. They've just been dilapidated, not taken care of for so long. And that's why I wanted to do that stream for The Big Short. Big Short's about the financial meltdown for 2008. And I do the fact check on that one too. There's some truth and then there's stuff that was omitted. But there's a moment in that film like, oh yeah, that happened to me too. I got a ton of stories I can tell you about that. There's some that I have to vet that I cannot share, and other ones that I'll probably be allowed to share. So I'm excited to eventually get around to that long delayed live stream. I think the tech is working out better this time, and officially doing the pass through of StreamYard to Rumble seems to be working out. But okay, just a little bit of a segue there. That was my Monday. Okay, let's get back on track. Elon wrote this in the afternoon when if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. This is an unacceptable security violation. This actually is in part with something I'm going to talk about in the recall a little later. This thing had 3.7 million views. A lot of people saw this on X. So then there's people that were chiming in. I think it's time. This is Greg. Shout out to Greg. If you follow X, anything, just follow Greg. And I think it's time for you to make a Tesla phone, Elon. This is a conversation that I'm going to have after this. So Elon followed that tweet up with this. Share this. It's patently absurd that Apple isn't smart enough to make their own AI, yet is somehow capable of ensuring that OpenAI will protect your security and privacy. That's a good point. However, there's a community note here. We're going to read it. Apple has no clue what's actually going on once they hand over your data to OpenAI. They are selling you down the river. First of all, on a concern with OpenAI. Did you hear the situation that happened that the OpenAI supposedly courted Scarlett Johansson so she can be a voice on OpenAI, turned it down? Isn't Scarlett Johansson the voice in that operating system in the film Her with Joaquin Phoenix? Yeah, I believe that was her. Anyway, OpenAI got sued because they evidently recreated her voice in some way that sounds like it was Scarlett Johansson. And that was a feature that was being offered by OpenAI. They eventually took it down, but the point is that that was a concern. In fact, before I went live a few hours ago, I saw as I was getting ready that OMG, O'Keefe Media Group, they put out an alert because James O'Keefe is doing a birthday bash later this month. I believe that is real because there is an RSVP or save the date that's going out there. People can buy tickets to go celebrate with him. I think it's in Washington or wherever. But they had to put out a scam alert that some people are getting messages from James O'Keefe, but it's AI doing this to scam people that are susceptible to this, where they get some money or get some offers or fake meet and greets and things like that, and people apparently are falling for it. So that was a warning earlier today. There's dangers to AI. There's significant benefits to AI as well. I can tell you that that's only this way or it's only the other way. No, it's just like any tech. It's a double-edged sword. It can be good or bad. It's just a matter of how much you let it control. Because at the end of the day, connect them, then there you go. It's just AI is only as smart as it can ever be. And I do have a clip. I'm going to pull it up later. What I really think about AI. But here's the community note on Elon Musk's post. Screen. Okay. So the community note says Apple have created their own artificial intelligence called Apple Intelligence. ChatGPT is an additional feature within Apple Intelligence, is limited to Siri and writing tools, and will require permission from the user for every use. I have this annoyance with iOS always asking for permission, even macOS always asking for permission. Remember those Apple commercials, Apple and PC, I'm a Mac, PC, and there was always making fun of the PC. Look like a pudgy Bill Gates with the glasses. And every time, I remember that commercial, it was like, cancel the rollout, cancel the rollout. And the joke was, oh my goodness, you got to hit all these prompts just to get to the one thing. Apple, you literally became that which you criticized. I think that's ridiculous. And, oh, dude, if I find it here, great. Let me make sure I have this file because we're talking about AI. I have a stinger for that. It's just that I wasn't thinking about it. I was going live. I do have it. All right. So let me share this file because I talked about it. This is what I think about AI. And for you fans of Rick and Morty, you'll know what this clip is.
What is my purpose?
Pass the butter. Thank you.
Dad, I need a ride to work.
Maybe Rick can give you a ride. I'm helping Morty with science.
I'm busy.
Doing what?
Anything else?
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
I always share that. That's my stinger for anytime I talk about AI. I do that when I'm doing my Windows live. That's very, very true. But let me stay on this a little bit about Apple not really being able to build some AI. There is some intelligence that was built into Apple. That's for sure. And it's at the chip level too, at the bionic chip, as far as I know. So it's a learning machine. That's what a lot of these things do. Learning machine, they get to know your patterns, your behaviors, and all that, and start adapting more to you. They even do that with some keyboards too, like digital keyboards mostly. You experience this when you're using the Swift key thing. Microsoft ended up buying Swift key. So when I used to use it, it was just independent of itself. It was first used by BlackBerry as the back end. And as things, like, kind of like the mobile OS wars, there were all these manufacturers that want to do their own things. Samsung Bixby, Google with it's the assistant, Siri with Apple, and Microsoft with Cortana. Now look where we are. We have ChatGPT technically being the back end for